it's a thrill to tell these stories, and these are things that people are just not talking about. Of course, if you mention the Bronx has had the loudest voices here. Everybody knows the story of the Bronx, and you mentioned DJ Kool Herc, and then you'll hear Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five. We all know those stories, but we don't know the Long Island story, and it's huge.
Welcome to Conversations with Verdel Jones. I'm your host, Verdel Jones, and we are about empowering your passion with purpose. Thank you so much for joining us. We have an amazing show today. I am so excited to welcome Archie Snowden. Archie is an accomplished, award-winning television journalist. He's a video producer and director and a multi-platform reporter for WHNT News, a CBS affiliate, in Huntsville, Alabama. He has been doing this for over 25 years. I'm just so thrilled that he is here. We're going to be talking about his upcoming film called Masters of Ceremony, The Long Island Founding Fathers of Hip Hop, directed by Archie MC Amazin A Snowden from Amazin A Productions and the Empower Your Community Network. So, Archie, I want to thank you so much for being on Conversations with Verdel Jones.
Thank you for having me, Vijay. Excited to be here. Absolutely.
So before we get started and before we dive into Masters of Ceremony, can you share a little bit about your journey from being Amazin A to being an award-winning journalist to filmmaker? I know that's a long story, but share that journey. How did you get to this point?
Well, how did I get to the point from journalism to journalism? I started in the automotive business first. So I went from Amazin A, MC Amazin A, to the automotive industry. And while I was in the automotive industry, we serviced some video production trucks. You know, every mechanic and every automotive technician has to have a fleet of vehicles. Say for on Long Island, it would be the Long Island Power Authority. Those fleet of vehicles that need work. We were servicing a production truck or a few production trucks, and the owner of those trucks was always complaining that he didn't have enough cameramen. So I said, you know what, I can do that part-time, man. Why don't you teach me how to do that? And part-time turned to full-time, and then I went to college for it, and here I am. That was a very long time ago in the mid-'90s, and 25 years in or more in media. It's been very rewarding, and it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, and you've met some amazing people along the way through this journey. Being a journalist and storytelling, it seems that this type of documentary, especially with your background, would be a natural progression for you, in the sense of, hip hop and you being Amazin A and doing this. So let's kind of get into Masters of Ceremony and what sparked you to make this film and really say this is a film that needs to be told, a story rather that needs to be told.
Well, we watched this just. First of all, I lived it. Okay, I was there from the beginning. I am considered a pioneer on Long Island, now a community. While they were creating this in the 5 boroughs in the mid '70s to the early '80s, when they started recording this super genre, I was in the middle of it. I was right there at the very beginning. I remember my cousin, when it started floating around town, my cousin DJ J1. Brought home some turntables, and it was the most exciting time in our lives from that point on. But I lived it. And I watched, and we watched as a world, the celebration of, or the anniversary of the celebration of hip hop from 1973 to 2023, right? 50 years of hip hop. And during that celebration, I didn't hear one thing about the heroes of my community that taught us how to party and taught us how to do this stuff. And as a journalist, you got to tell the whole story.
Right.
And I remember me and Marcel Hall, a friend of mine, Biz Marquis, which I'm sure everybody's familiar with. We were talking about doing something. When he was still alive, God rest his soul. And that was in 2021 before he got sick. And we put it off and put it off because he was touring the country. But when that celebration or that anniversary of hip hop came out, and I heard none of the heroes that I grew up with that helped us pioneer this, I jumped right on it. Yeah. And I started trying to find and getting in touch with all of those pioneers that we grew up with. They're still here, but they're not mentioned. And I was bothered by that.
Right, absolutely. And it does. Your documentary is focusing on the founding fathers of hip hop on Long Island, because people, might not think Long Island has a tradition of hip hop and being a pioneer within this genre that is now, unmistakably one of the greatest genres out there. Why was it so important to highlight Long Island specifically? And because those were some, you were in it, you're one of those pioneers, but why Long Island specifically and the culture that contributed to hip hop?
It's where I grew up. And again, I reference back to what I mentioned earlier. I was there, I was in it. It is, I tell you, when you're driving through the neighborhood back then and you hear loud music coming from miles away, it was free entertainment for us. You didn't have to pay to get in. Block party. You grabbed your friends and you followed to where that music was, and you were there and you had a really good time. And the time was so impactful for us that, these DJs and these rappers, they did it for free. They weren't getting paid to set up in the street. They just trying to find some electricity to plug into somebody's house and bang it out in the street so we can all hear it and enjoy it. And just like it happened in the Bronx, in Manhattan and Brooklyn and Queens, it happened for us too. But we weren't relying on what was going on in five boroughs. We were doing it ourselves. So that's why in my community, that's why I wanted to highlight my community, what we did. I want everybody to know that we were doing the same exact things and help to create this super genre, as you were referencing to.
Absolutely. And since, you were in it and you grew up in it and you're a pioneer in this, and there's so many others from Long Island that were involved with this. While you were filming, was there anything that surprised you, or were there any powerful stories that you could share while you were filming this film?
Well, you know what, Verdel, the most powerful stories I've heard were, and this goes from all of them, is that the tree that was created out of their creation, that was evolved out of what they created. You take somebody like the person who started hip hop, who started all of these things on Long Island, was DJ Nelson PR. You take DJ Nelson PR, you follow that tree all the way up until now. It is absolutely amazing. And while I was shooting this video and I was telling these stories, it just fueled something to just keep on going. You take, I'll give you another example. You take DJ Pleasure, right, who came after Nelson PR. DJ Pleasure gave birth to DJ Cool Breeze and the Love Brothers. Love Brothers is where Rakim came from. And outside of that, people wanted to follow that. You take, excuse me, when I get into this, I can go because it's my passion. And you take that crew and you hear somebody or you get to know somebody like Eugene Groove Allen, and who the late great Eugene Groove Allen was connected to. He was connected to Jerry J, and Jerry J is connected to 7 artists from Long Island that have made it.
Right.
To me, those are the most amazing stories. And Eugene Groove Allen's real story, Biz Marquis' real story, Jerry J, DJ Pleasure, Nelson PR, their story has a tremendous impact on what we're listening to today. And
100%.
We're forgotten. We're not talked about here on Long Island.
Right. It's I love the through line, because and back in the day, like you just mentioned a little bit ago, it wasn't really wasn't for the money, wasn't for the fame. It was for the love of the art form, and people were just excited to be doing that, and the expression of it as well. And I love that so many things came out of all of the beginnings of it, and it's not talked about. So we are just thrilled that you're telling this story and how powerful hip hop was on Long Island back in the day and where it started.
Absolutely. And it's a thrill. It's a thrill to tell these stories, and these are things that people are just not talking about. Of course, if you mention, the Bronx has had the loudest voices here. Everybody knows the story of the Bronx, and you mentioned DJ Kool Herc, and then you'll hear Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, and then you'll hear African Bambaataa, and which leads to Soul Sonic Force and Fat Joe and all the rest of them. We all know those stories. Most people who are involved in hip hop know those stories, but we don't know the Long Island story, and it's huge.
Yeah,
it's huge.
It really is.
And ignore it.
Yeah, it really is. So your film, it blends interviews and there's performances in this as well, correct? What kind of energy did that bring to the project? Because I know that in speaking with the individuals that have that are involved, what type of fuel or passion or energy did it bring to the whole production itself?
Well, the performances, when you're producing a documentary, this is what I learned by going, in my journey in this. I put it together, and it was just a bunch of talking. And now we're talking, if you compare the times, the mid-'70s to the mid-'80s is ancient times for a lot of people. So now you're listening to a bunch of old guys just talk, right? You had to break it up with some music and some type of performances and some historic pictures that date back to that time. A lot of these documentaries don't have pictures because we didn't record a lot of things back then.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So what I had a lot of them do, is some of them still consider this a career still, or trying to make something of it, but they have performances associated with it. So that's the music that is involved. It's original content, unsampled music, and it kind of filled it up. And of course, I'm performing in there too. I can still get it. I can still get it in.
I know you can. You got skills. I know that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I love that. So, as someone who's lived and reported on hip hop culture, or in this film, Masters of Ceremony, what do you think young folks or the younger generation will take away from your documentary?
Well, I'm hoping what they do. I'm hoping that they take it as an education, and it is an education, at least to just give them a hint of what went on back then. We see a lot of documentaries, and I know there are some coming out now that just focus on the recording artists. But I want them to know where those recording artists came from, where they started, and how they got involved in it. So I just want it to be an education of history. When you're a journalist and you're telling stories, there are so many platforms out there for people to become educated in news and what's happening. For the news of the day, right, and what's going on in the world. But I want folks, our younger folks, to look at this and say they are proud that they probably got a chance to know where this came from. Because they're gonna have no idea.
Yeah.
Until they see this, they're gonna have no idea who these people were. I just wish I could have been able to do it sooner. But better late than never. I just want them to walk away with an education.
Right. Yeah. It's going to be really looking forward to it. Now, were there any challenges? And because there's always challenges on taking something of this magnitude on, and what were some of the challenges that you had to deal with in creating this?
I am a one-man band, multimedia journalist, which means from concept to creation. I write it, I shoot it, I produce it, I edit it, I cultivate all the contacts, I do all the interviews. And when you're doing all of that, you're taking on a lot of digital content. In the middle of this, I lost half of that content with crashed hard drives
Oh my
in the middle
goodness.
of it, which extended the time frame of it coming out. When I showed a digital platform, one of our media platforms that shows movies, when I showed them the trailer, they jumped all over it. So now there was a hustle to recover some of this stuff and try to get this done. And that was the greatest challenge, to recover those files. We're talking thousands and thousands of hours later, thousands of dollars later,
Yeah.
because all of that work that I put into it, that one-man band work, I was not going to lose that. There's no way,
Yeah.
because this is the only time that our legends and pioneers in Nassau and Suffolk County get to tell their story. They've been waiting 50 plus years, 40 plus years to get their word out. I was not going to lose it.
Right.
So, the digital challenge was the greatest challenge.
Oof. Oh my goodness. I couldn't even imagine. That must have been, I couldn't even imagine. Oh.
Frightful. Oh my God.
Oh my goodness gracious. So how we're so excited about Masters of Ceremony, and how can people, when will you be releasing it? How can people see it? What is the plan? What's happening?
I put it in film festivals. I put it in several film festivals, which was my mistake because I was so excited about it. I wanted everybody to see it and hear it and judge it. But what it did was it opened the door for folks to tell their stories as well. And it delayed the opening of the opening date that we wanted to release it. It is definitely coming out this summer. I can't give you an exact date. And I'm glad that the film festivals, after a year or so of finally releasing it, giving me my daggone video back. But people wanted to nitpick it. What they do is, if you put it in a lot of film festivals, they start searching whether you use somebody's music or the legitimacy of the pictures. They just couldn't believe that somebody would reach back, or somebody existed in this world that would reach that far back and give these guys a platform. So
Wow.
it was tricky, but it worked out. And I'm sure what you've seen is, as you can see, that the amount of work that went into all of that. And I'm glad that I finally got it back and give everybody a date soon.
Yeah, I mean, this is it. It is exciting, and the little, that you have shared. There's such an excitement around it, and I just want to say congratulations, because the work that you put into it and the dedication and really that passion in sharing the stories. I just want to say thank you.
Oh, thank you for the compliment. I mean, there's so many stories, Verdel, so many stories to be told, so many untold stories. And I think this is going to lead to something else, because I'm not going to stop telling our story. So we'll see.
Yeah, and that brings me actually to a question, like, what's next? Is there a follow-up, or what do you have planned?
Well, my follow-up plan was to include the recording artists that have made some success out of it. There is a documentary that's produced now, that's coming out now on that's, I think, is being released in June, somewhere around this summer, that I had already taken that concept. The main, you mentioned issues before. One of the main issues was not being able to include everyone.
Yeah.
It's an hour and 15 minutes. It's 80 plus minutes of a documentary telling all of our story on Long Island. I could have gone 3, 4, 5 hours. I could have made part 1, part 2, part 3. So there may be a part 2.
Okay.
Because there are going to be a lot of people that weren't included. And they're going to see this and go, well, why didn't you call me?
Right. They're going to be tight. Why didn't you include me?
Yeah, absolutely. So I would imagine what's coming out from this is a part 2, just because I don't want to disclude everybody. I got to do this, and this time with a team. But
right.
That seems to be the deal.
How can people stay connected with you? They want to find out more when they would be able to see it. How can people reach out to you?
Well, you can reach out to me simply. Everything that says Archie Snowden at Instagram at Archie Snowden. You can reach me on X Archie Snowden 3. I'm going to start in the coming month to because we got Wine Dance Day, we got Amityville Day, we got whatever those days are coming up.
Correct.
You can start reaching me, start seeing this stuff posted on Facebook. I'm going to start including little bits and pieces. A new trailer will be out in another month, which is what I'm really excited about, because the first trailer that I made in 2022, that was to get all of our legends out of the woodwork. Where are you guys? Come in, you see what's going on here. Let me know if you want to be involved in this. And they did.
Yep.
They did. So the trailer includes all of those guys. And when people see those people, and people who lived in that era, when you see those guys, those DJs and those rappers from back in the day that you haven't seen since you were in high school, they're going to get excited about it.
Yeah.
So that's what you're going to start seeing them on those platforms, mainly Instagram. And please, if you want to contact me, and I talked to, excuse me, if I could just add, I talked to a very, very famous rapper, two of them. One of them is considered a top 5 greatest rapper of all time. And he saw the first trailer, and he sent me a message on Instagram not too long ago asking me where it is. He's the same rapper that told me a long time ago, when I was having my fits about the 50th anniversary celebration, not including us Long Island guys. He said, if you don't like what you see, Archie, then do something about it.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Be the change you want to see.
Right? You can't do anything. You can't say anything if you don't do it about it, man. Just back and watch. So I jumped on my horse and decided to do something about it.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So Archie, I want to thank you so much for being a guest on Conversations with Verdel Jones. I am so excited that we got to connect and we got to chat about your film and the process. And I just want to make sure that people go, get connected with Archie so you can find out what's going on and when you'll be able to see the film Masters of Ceremony, the Long Island Founding Fathers of Hip Hop. This documentary is really going to be an eye-opener and very informative, and I think it's so important for us to keep that history. That storytelling is so important. So I want to thank everybody for watching Conversations with Verdel Jones. Again, I want to thank Archie Snowden for being a fabulous guest.
And thank you for having me, Verdel. It was an absolute pleasure speaking with you.
And we will see you next time. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, and follow us on social media so you will never miss an episode.